So he's come in cardiac arrest. So he's, and we're working on him in resus. And, like, he's young. So you're going to work on him for a while until you get something back. But, you have to call it at like about 45 minutes to an hour of working on him. It just was no output, no cardiac output. So you call time of death. So we sat there. This is the middle of the night. And, some guy comes in, like, shouting, like, oh, where's my son? Where's my son?
They'll attribute things to aliens, but they can't get their head around the existence of God, bro. They just can't get their head around it. And a lot of it is just the arrogance, bro. Because when they're deep at night, by themselves, they're truly, truly honest. They can't deny the fact, bro.
Went into the house and I just saw this being with fangs, red hair, said, I want blood from your jugular vein. I was like, that's pretty specific.
He's a doctor.
Was that pretty specific? It was a woman.
Oh, it was a woman?
Yeah, it was a
Whoa.
woman, yeah. And then...
Welcome to another episode of the Grappling with Life podcast. Today, I'm joined by Doctor Aurangzeb. Welcome.
Much. Thanks for having me.
Relax, bro.
I'm relaxed. No, I'll go professional.
Huh?
So
you went doctor mode.
Do you know what? Honestly, I'll tell you something funny before we start.
Go on.
So when we're doing sort of our GP exams, then we have this thing where like you have to film yourself consulting.
Right, okay.
Oh my God. I watched myself consult and it's horrendous. So there's a camera playing.
But is there a person there though?
No, you have a patient.
An actual patient?
Yes, so you have to gain consent. So it's in your clinic, your normal clinic. So in the last year of training, because it's setting you up basically for this clinical skills assessment. And that's the last exam that you have to do to basically pass and become a GP. So we have to do like we had like a video clinic. So 15 minutes, set up a camera and then get the consent from a patient and basically film the consultation.
So the camera's on you, not the patient?
Camera's on both of us.
Oh, okay.
So it's and then you have to watch it back with your supervisor. Oof. Oh my God. But honestly, I learned a lot from that. So the thing that I learned mostly was that, okay, there's certain things I do when I don't know, I'm quite an expressive person. I'm using it now. I'm like using body language. So I realized that I gesticulate a lot. So what I started doing was stop doing that. I had to like just put my hands down or I do this, the gable grip, to stop myself from moving around, fidgeting a lot. The other thing that you look at is obviously when you're conscious about a camera being there, you automatically start to change the way you are. So I just got a bit more natural, and it also depends because it affects your consultation. So what you have to do is blank out that there's anyone in the room and just solely focus on that person. So when there's a camera there, I do tend to get a little bit nervous, but
how about now? How do you feel?
No, I'm all right now.
You sure?
I think we've
we've
warmed up a lot, so I'm all right now. I'm all right.
What's the problem with using your hands? Gesticulating?
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I personally think that I'm not able to get my words across if I'm using my hands. Do you see what I'm saying? So maybe it's not like a form of, because you go through these kind of soft skills that you learn at university.
Yeah.
And they teach you that try not to use your hands so much.
No way.
Yeah.
What, in medical school?
In medical school and just generally in life when you're trying to get something across. Good luck to the Italians.
Like even Algerians, bro. Yeah.
But generally just when you're having a conversation, you're supposed to speak more clearly as opposed to using your hands to try and get across your point. And you find that actually that in certain things I think it's useful, but also you tend to mirror body language.
Right.
And I find that happens in consultations. So if I've got someone who comes really chilled, then I you're almost like, like leaning into your chair and be quite relaxed. But then you get other people who are super uptight, their posture's really up. And a lot of them come with a lot of medical knowledge. I mean, granted, some of it's from Google. Yeah. So you have to
all of it's from Google.
All of it's from Google. But to be honest, I think it's revolutionary.
Do you think that people are more clued up about...
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they are. I have one particular patient, and when he writes online consultations, so I don't know how your practice works, but we have some that call up for a telephone appointment, and other people can write online what their problem is.
Write it?
Yeah. So they write it, and then it comes through to us, and then we triage it. Does it need a face-to-face? Does it need a telephone call? or can we just send them a text message saying, okay, here's a blood test form, go and get it done.
Right.
So this guy writes a whole essay, and I have to check my medical knowledge sometimes because he is clued up. But obviously the demographic is different, so you have to be able to adjust accordingly. And actually, funny enough, I was thinking about this when I listened to Irfat's podcast. And you know like how he has different ways of speaking, you mentioned.
Yes.
You actually have to have that in the GP world.
Code switching, they call it.
Yeah, it's literally that. So, you know, I have these 80, 90-year-old English patients who, you know, all right, son, you know, you have to, you almost mirror them because you can't talk how we would talk normally because they just don't relate to it. And I think I read somewhere.
So you go, what, darling? Yeah, take a seat, mate. Yeah,
not quite, almost there.
Because if you start, like, imagine a Cockney doctor, bruv, that.
Yeah, the thing is...
But again, it's part of making them feel comfortable, isn't it?
It is. It's making them feel comfortable and they're familiar. Because if they're familiar, they're automatically their guard lowers. Because if you're going into someone who obviously looks very different from you, bald head with a beard, automatically their assumptions are of maybe other things that they've seen in the news.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you know,
Okay, how can I help you, sir? Do you need blood test?
Exactly that. And the other thing that gets to me is when you've come in and you've not even given eye contact to the patient. So we've got a thing at the moment in our practice. You know, you guys have got you might have seen it in your own GP surgeries, but there's something called the JX board. So, you know, you click a button and name comes up.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Yahya, we come to room 2 and then you go in.
I ain't been a doctor for like
They took you out the
15
list,
years.
Yeah.
I don't even have a surgery.
Yeah, they'll end up removing you from the list.
Yeah, I think I'm not on the list. Bro.
Yeah, they'll end up removing
You know who
from
my
the list.
doctor is, isn't it, bro?
Who's your doctor? Oh, yeah, I know your doctor. I'm beta version, isn't it?
No. So you're like, because you know, before, by this Dr. Amir is my doctor, bro. I tell him everything, bro.
Yeah.
I think he gets annoyed sometimes when I call him.
No, do you know what?
But then he's like, Azizam, you have to call me. You have to call me because, like, and it's stupid things, bro. I got a runny nose. Like, he gets annoyed sometimes, but he doesn't say it.
No, he won't, because I think we spoke about this before, and I spoke about it to Amir as well. It's like, ours is the only profession where you will get hounded when you're not at work, but you're expected to give advice without there being any kind of cost attached to it, which is fine, that's what we signed up for.
That's it.
But there is a level, and there's certain people that you don't mind if they call you in the middle of the night. Do you know what I mean? And
Because
honestly,
he calls us for like
app issues.
Not PDF, like my PDF's not working or whatever. Like,
printer's
but the
not
IT
plugged
guys,
in.
we get it all the time as well,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah,
It's not like
No, you
life
do,
or
you do.
death.
Yes.
It's not life or death. But like, oh my God, I've lost all my stuff. What do I do?
Yeah.
And you've got to give him a consultation, bro. And do you know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah, 100%. That's the thing. I mean, again,
But it's in your nature as well.
Yeah.
So I know with Doc and with yourself as
Yeah.
well. You're always, bro. Doesn't that knowledge a bit? Isn't it a burden a little bit, bro?
it is in a
Do
way.
you find like you're a bit of a hypochondriac sometimes?
No.
With other people,
With other people, yes. With
like
myself,
especially your kids.
yes. With kids, I think so. I actually have one story about that. It involves Amir.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So actually, my son Musa, the oldest one, he must have been 2014 times. He's got asthma.
Okay.
So at the time, I don't know if you remember, in September, there was some really like tropical weather. We had some mad storms in 2014. I remember this because my younger son was basically born the next month. So he played up with his asthma. So I thought, okay, cool, give him his inhaler, give him some paracetamol, everything will be fine. So I've gone off to train at the gym and I'm getting calls like, oh, you know, he's really, really bad. So I've gone home and he's like struggling to breathe now. Like, yeah, we've given him, there's a certain kind of regimen that you can give him of salbutamol, the blue inhaler. So I've tried all of that. And I said, okay, cool. I think we need to take him to Whips Cross. It's my local hospital. Walk into Whips Cross, guess what I see in the streaming desk? And bear in mind, I haven't seen him here for years, yeah? At this point in time. And like Musa, I've like carried him in.
He's flipped tables over in it to go get to you.
Literally there. Like,
I love a verdict,
yeah. And so I was only seen Musa is quite bad. Gone straight to peds, got admitted, spent like 2 nights in hospital with him. Yeah, like just
Your head must have went to the
but
worst case scenario, innit?
It did, because I've seen kids in that situation before. I did pediatrics for 6 months. Yeah, I think the most heartbreaking thing about pediatrics and kids is seeing that side of things and seeing how bad they can get.
Have you seen any deaths?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Serious?
Yeah, but more in like the neonatal side of things. So, you know, premature babies and things like that. Honestly, I don't want to put a downer on.
No, man, it's important that
but
people hear this,
but
bro.
it's,
That's the other side of the job, but people don't really
yeah.
talk about, bro.
Do you ever
The
have
deaths.
to break the news, bro? Have you ever had break?
Yeah, I've had to break, not in children, but I've had to break it to. So I was working in A&E up in Bury, which is just outside Manchester, and a 26-year-old had taken. Have you heard of this drug called methadone? It's like meow meow they used to call it or something. Some weird kind of designer drug. So he'd taken it for the first time, and he had a cardiac arrest.
It's like spice.
Yes, I think it
You
is
smoke
spice.
it or is it?
I think smoke or inhale or you can do anything with it. I believe. So he's come in cardiac arrest. So he's and we're working on him in resus, and like he's young, so you're gonna work on him for a while until you get something back. But we had to call it at like about 45 minutes to an hour of working on him. It just was no output, no cardiac output. So you call time of death. So we sat there. This is the middle of the night. And, some guy comes in, like, shouting, like, oh, where's my son? Where's my son? I need to see him. I need to see him. And nobody had told him that his son had died. Police are supposed to go over and let the family know. So
how long after his son?
It was about 2 or 3 hours. So that's why we've assumed that, okay, he knows. But then I judged that, you have to be able to kind of judge situations. So I've seen him come in and he's irate and he's like, where's my son? I need to see him now. I need to see him now. He's been brought in. So I had to take him to a room. Took one of the nurses with me as well. You need that kind of like almost
Support,
pastoral support
Yeah.
there. And basically broke it to him. And, what reaction do you have to that? He's completely distraught. You dig a little bit deeper into it and, he's not one of those kids that would, or kids, I say grown adult, but still he wasn't one of those that kind of delved into it. First time you see his medical records not being in and out because of sort of, because you see the ones that are
drug addicts.
Drug addicts, they've got tracks up their arm and it's like, they come in for abscesses. And
What's abscess?
abscess, like, like a collection of pus, basically.
Right.
Because they've injected, it causes a localized infection, it forms an abscess. So they've come in with, they inject everywhere, by the way. Everywhere.
I heard between the toes.
Bro, they inject anywhere they can find. Anywhere they can find.
Says it all, bro. Everywhere.
Yes.
Even in the eyes.
No,
not the
bro.
eyes,
You're
bruv.
so big.
Oh.
Just to get that high and that fix, they will inject everywhere.
What does that do to your, because I read a story actually a long time ago about, Mick Jagger's boy, what's his name, man? The guy that looks like a pirate, bro. From Rolling Stones. The other guy. Not Mick Jagger, there's the other guy.
I'm not sure. I just know Mick Jagger.
What's his name, man? He was in Pirates of the Caribbean, played Johnny Depp's dad in it, bro. But anyway, he's basically a rock star. He's a big time crackhead, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
It's that lifestyle for them.
That lifestyle. So rock and roll lifestyle, yeah. So they had to do a sign. They did a basically they had to study him.
Okay.
He goes, how are you still alive?
Is it Jeff Beck, by the way?
Who?
Jeff Beck.
No.
Jeff Beck.
No.
You're going down.
Is it Rolling Stones where Mick Jagger is? Is it
Rolling Stones, yeah.
Type in Rolling Stones. Yeah, so they've had to do that because there's no way you take that much drugs and you're still alive.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
But they're saying that he's like, one guy was going, he was pickled. When the word pickled, like he explained what the word pickled means. When you pickle like he goes the heroin and all that stuff, he's pickled his body, bro. So he's probably gonna live to 200, bro, probably. but what is something like, drugs like heroin?
Heroin is...
What does that do to your body, bro?
So it's like, it gives you a state of like, euphoria.
Euphoria, yeah.
You feel like, I mean, personally, obviously I don't know from personal, but from what I've read in books and stuff.
Because it's a derivative of morphine, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
It's dimorphine, heroin. Right. So it gives you that thing. So,
but I'm saying not from a experience point of view, but from a
physiological.
As in what damage does it do to your body? What
I mean, the thing is that
adrenaline glands must be like shot to pieces, bro.
Because it's exactly so.
It breaks you down.
It breaks you down, right? First thing is any drug is a poison. Yeah, it's not meant to be in our bodies. Even like medication.
Yeah.
Antibiotics, cardiac medication, these kind of things, they're not meant to be in our body.
Yeah.
So with heroin, for example, they say that that's one of the most addictive drugs. And apparently the first hit is the worst because that's where you get addicted from. There's a certain element of when you take it consistently, you develop dependency.
Right.
So dependency is you need it to be able to function. So I don't know the exact term. You know, when you go cold turkey, there's actually something, there's the wisdom behind that. It eludes me now, but there's actually something that happens to your body that's reminiscent of something.
cold turkey.
Yes, basically.
You know
okay.
what that, you know, when I hear that,
Yeah.
the scene that comes into my head is Last Samurai. When they put him in the room and he's
Oh
going
yeah, I've seen
mad.
Last Samurai.
I've seen Last Samurai, yeah.
Sake!
Yeah, he's drunk, innit?
Yeah.
That's when I think cold
That's
turkey,
alcohol, bro. But can you imagine heroin, bro?
Yeah.
I can't remember which.
Highly addictive.
There was, and it could kill you, bro.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know the withdrawals can actually kill you.
Bro, the withdrawals can kill you. Obviously, overdose.
Yeah,
that's something that you see. I mean, we don't see it that often, I would say. I think there is a drug problem, definitely. We know that there's a drug problem in the
It depends
UK.
where you are as well.
Depends where you are as well. I mean, I think in America it's a lot bigger. And it depends what the drug of choice is as well. Like, they've got meth. We don't have meth here, really. It's not one of the things that I see people get addicted to. And, you know, in my day-to-day experience, remember, I'm going back to A&E times, and Amir is still doing that stuff. And he's still in A&E and stuff, so he sees it a lot more. But alcohol is a big problem. Alcohol addiction.
What would you say?
Yeah.
In your experience, how long have you been a doctor?
Oh, 13 years. I can tell.
13
I know that. Yeah.
Okay, so 13 years.
So it's the year that Musa was born.
Okay,
yeah,
mashallah.
2009.
Mashallah.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is the biggest problem men are suffering from? So, from the
Good question.
patients that are like coming in, or has it changed in the last few years? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
because you see a lot of people in
Yeah,
it.
yeah, absolutely.
Like,
I think on that kind of ground level of people that, because the demographic that I work in East Ham, so it's mixed.
Yeah.
Majority South Asian population. We have some Algerians as well, Eastern Europeans.
what are Algerians like, bro, man? But Algerians love doctors, bro.
Algerians are wicked. I mean, we've got a few
Have you noticed
families.
that they always want medicine when they come to see you, bro?
Yeah, 100%.
What is it with bruv?
Or they go
In
in Algeria,
Algeria,
and they want 3 months medication, and then they'll come back. They'll come back for a week, and it's just because they need their medication,
Yeah, yeah.
and then they'll go back to Algeria again.
No, but I'm saying, you know, in Algeria, when I was in Algeria, I'll give you
Yeah.
an example, yeah? So I had some sort of belly problem or something. I don't know what the hell the issue was. They took me to the doctor.
Yeah.
The guy was going to give me an injection. I was like, but for what, bruv? Chikka, they call it a chikka, yeah?
They inject you with everything, bro.
It's like paracetamol in injection form, bro. I don't know what the hell they're
Yeah.
giving you in injections, bruv. So when they come here, like my
Yeah.
mum, she'd tell us when we go to the doctor, she'd tell us, hey, make sure you act sick, yeah, so they can
So
give
they
you
give
some.
you an
Don't like be sick at home and tell him that you're okay when you get
Yeah.
there, bruv. Do you
Yeah.
get me? She'd
Yeah.
get so angry, bruv. But obviously, that's all parents, isn't
No,
it?
that's
Like,
parents. I mean, like
Yeah.
when I see children now, I think the biggest thing with parents and treating, for example, children and seeing sick children is that they want you to be able to relate to them.
Who, the kids or the
No,
parents?
the parents,
Oh, right,
because
right.
they're like, no, before when you're a bit younger and stuff, they're like, oh, you know, what do you know? Like, you're telling me to do this, and that, but you haven't experienced what that feels
Right.
like. I go, listen, I've got 4 children. I
Yeah.
know what it feels like to be able to.
And
be
they
up
feel
on
more
that.
comfortable because you've got kids
Absolutely.
as well, yeah.
Straight away, the guard goes down.
Yeah.
And they're much more open to your advice. The thing is, when you consult with someone, you have to. We're taught this, but to be honest, any layman should know this. This is the way to consult. Is that it should be a patient-centered approach. So you come to me, you've had a cold recently, yeah, and firstly, there's something that we follow. It's called ICE: ideas, concerns, expectations. So firstly, I'll ask, what do you think's going on? I just think I've got a cold or I've got a chest infection. And then you'll say, okay, well, so what you worried about? Like, well, it's been there for a week and it's not gone and it's getting worse. Also, I'm a smoker. Yeah. Already that's kind of triggering something in my mind, like an algorithm and a pathway to think, okay, he's a smoker. He gets frequent chest infections and they really only respond to antibiotics. So what's his expectations on a course of antibiotics? Yeah. In this case, it's reasonable to prescribe that. But other people might say, you know what, doc, I've had a cough for 3 days, but I'm usually fit and well, a non-smoker. I think I've got cancer. So again, you have to be able to manage that because you can't dismiss that. It may well be this, the start of something, but with knowledge and with experience and with knowing
Highly
that
unlikely.
highly unlikely. So you have to be able to
Also, it could be a hypochondriac. It
absolutely,
could be, yeah.
and you quickly get to know those patients.
Yeah.
But also, I have a rule that
Take everything serious.
100%, 99 times out of 100, it may be something so trivial, but that 100th time is when you're going to miss something. So you can't. It doesn't matter who it is walking through the door. You have to be the same. You have to have the same energy Monday morning to Friday afternoon. That's the danger.
nuts.
Eh?
I hate Mondays, bro. I don't know how you do it.
Oh,
bro.
is it? No, do you know what? Because I start work at 8 o'clock, yeah? I
AM.
don't wake up till 9. In my
8 a.m.
8 a.m., yeah. And Mondays is my longest day, so I'm there till 6:30. It's like what we call an on-call. So on an on-call, so we have our set patients that we have for the day. And then if someone like can't, you know what it's like at the moment, no one can get an appointment.
It's crazy, bro.
It's crazy. So, and especially with December, with all the scarlet fever, strep A that was going around.
Whooping
Just had-
cough, all
yeah,
sorts
they
of
had
stuff.
low threshold to see people, especially children. So like, you know, I have a rule of thumb that, look, any babies like less than 1, ideally, if we had a fever, something going, they need to be seen.
Yeah.
So on my day, for example, I can't account for everyone because everyone practices differently. But I have a general rule of thumb: if they're unwell, I'll see them, because firstly, if that's my child, I would want them to be seen. Even if, I mean, look, there is certain amount of advice you can give over the phone, and that's where COVID kind of came in and changed our practice overnight. So before, I didn't have anything set up from home. So as soon as COVID came in, the PCN, who's the primary care network, Newham PCN, they all gave us laptops. Said, all right, cool, you've got the functionality now. You know, with this, is it N3 connections? I'm not really sure about that kind of thing, but it's a secure connection.
Yeah.
You log on with a token and stuff, and you can practice from home. So during COVID, we weren't seeing people for like about three or 4 months.
Yeah.
And in a way, like, we still managed to get the work done, but you missed that kind of interaction with people, because you can see a lot from someone's demeanor and the way they walk in. You know someone's unwell straight away. You can say if someone's walked in and they've got back pain and they're just like, you know, open the door casually, they've walked in, you know, you've got some of your back pain ain't that bad.
Right.
But I'm still going to obviously take a history, because it just maybe at this point you've taken painkillers and that your back pain's got better.
Right.
So honestly, I would say it's a rewarding job, in the sense that we're helping. Yeah, obviously shifa's from Allah. You know, we're just a vehicle for that.
Yeah.
And to be in that position, to be able to help people, I think you have to always renew your intention. So for me, even with training, like when I go to training, why am I training for? You know, like, you know, I enjoy seeing you guys, so that's alhamdulillah. It's a bit of a social thing as well, which is nice, because you need that. And you're socializing in the right places, but also is to keep physically fit, which from a medical point of view is paramount. So if I'm sat here and I'm out of shape and I'm trying to advise someone that you've got diabetes, you need to lose weight, they're going to take one look at me and be like, bruv, take your own advice first, isn't it? So you have to be able to give. I mean, don't get me wrong, there is doctors like that, and unfortunately, you know, they've got other interests.
They're humans as well.
Yeah. You know, there's doctors that smoke. You know, it's not the correct thing to do, but, you know, maybe it's something they've had a habit from when they were young. It's difficult to kick. But also they can sympathize with a lot of patients when they go through that. So that's the other thing about illnesses, is that if you've been through something, you're able to like empathize more. So there's like a condition, hand, foot and mouth disease. Yeah. Kids get it. You get blisters on your hands. You get ulcers in your mouth. Have you had it? Yeah.
Not me, but my kids.
Your kids get it. Exactly. So I had it. I got sent home from work when I was working.
It's mad infectious, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mad infectious. They're like, what are you doing here? Like, I feel completely fine. They're like, yeah, but you know, you're working in an elderly ward. I know some of them are about to go, but you know, let's not
finish them off.
Let's not finish them off straight away. So you just have to be, and then I'll be saying, okay, cool. I know the length of this illness.
Right.
I know how serious it can get. There's only so much you can learn from textbooks.
Yes, sir.
And obviously we have to keep ourselves up to date. That's a requirement. We have appraisals every year, thanks to Harold Shipman.
Oh yeah.
How many people had 200?
What is wrong with this guy, bro? He killed himself as well, innit? He hung himself in prison.
He hung himself in prison, something like that. And what he used to do was to do home visits, I think, and then give lethal doses of I can't remember exactly what drug, but you know, it's not something that we have access to nowadays anyway. But bro, it used to be five years an appraisal every 5 years, like to be able to see that you're up to date. To be honest, it's positive that you get to have to do something every
checks and
year.
balances,
It
innit, bro?
absolutely. You need it because you don't want people like that to slip through the net. I think majority of the people that do our job are majority of the people are there because they're caring.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, a lot of things.
He was a psychopath, bro.
He was, and
Yeah.
there was no ifs or buts about it. He
Yeah.
was. There's no coming back from that. But
Can I touch back about
No, go
the men's
sorry,
issues?
we got sidetracked.
No, it's not
Yeah,
sidetrack,
yeah.
bro. It's a conversation, bro.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to kind of like, because obviously a lot of men watch this podcast,
Yeah.
and like I said, bro, I haven't been to the doctor in ages, bro. I haven't had a physical. I don't know. We don't do physicals here, do we, bro?
No, they're over 40s now.
Yeah, over
We're hitting that
40s.
soon,
Yeah.
innit?
Yeah, exactly, bro.
We'll both be in that
Yeah,
soon.
yeah. So like, because from what Emil was telling me,
Yeah.
there's a lot of mental health.
Massive.
Being a GP, most of the time you're getting guys with mental health issues and stuff like that. But in your experience in the last 13
Yeah.
years, has there been a shift in young, just men in general,
Yeah.
on what kind of afflictions they're getting? And
Definitely. I mean, I think mental health is a big one.
right,
Physically, I don't think there is, because physically it all depends on family history. Like, for
Yeah.
example, diabetes is rife,
Yeah.
and especially in the Bengali community, because that's a lot of my patients are Bengalis, and they get it at a young age.
is it due to lifestyle?
I still think it's a combination of lifestyle, genetics. I found that even when I went to university, I had a couple of Bengali friends, actually quite a few, and you'd hear it won't be uncommon that one of their dads had passed away at an early age from heart problems.
Yeah.
So there is an element of sort of like a hereditary predisposition to having that, but I think lifestyle is a big factor. Going back to your question on sort of like our age, when we were younger men, young men, we are young, innit? So
Yeah, just about though.
just
bro.
about
touching
come
like
on, man. Mental health. I think people feel, a bit freer to talk about mental health now. So quite often they get stress. Yeah, stress. What are you stressed about? So it's such an open-ended question. So
Yeah.
in sort of history taking, and you're probably going to get this with podcasts as well. You can ask open questions or closed questions.
Yeah.
Closed questions if I really want to get to the bottom of what the problem is, but open questions if if I want to just get them to talk. So something called the golden minute. Let them speak for a minute, maybe longer than that, depending on how much information they want to volunteer. So yeah, younger men now, I think, but when you look deeper into it, why are they stressed? A lot of the times it depends on their financial situation, what's going on in their home lives. It all comes down to how they're treating their bodies in the end of the day, I think anyway. And that ties into training, exercising, eating right. I think that's a massive part. That's the first advice that I give to anyone. I'm very anti sort of medication, especially when it comes to anxiety and depression. I feel that, especially like obviously we've got Muslim patients as well. So, you can talk to them a little bit about like, okay, you're praying. It's not my position to do that.
Yeah.
But, you can just give them, a little bit of advice. It may be frowned upon to kind of talk about that stuff during a consultation, but some people just, when they will ask you, and I'm obliged to kind
You're
of...
being culturally sensitive.
Being culturally sensitive, exactly. And you have to be. And that goes across the board. That goes for non-Muslims, maybe they're drinking too much. But that lack of exercise is a big thing. Obesity, we know there's just an epidemic anyway of obesity, but I think that's all tied into cost of living.
Serious?
Yeah. Cost of living crisis. So at the moment, people are
Recently?
Yeah. Because people are putting and COVID had a big part to play in that. And I think there was the brother you had, Faisal, wasn't it, on the podcast?
Faisal,
Yeah. So some people actually made changes for the positive, like he did, but others it went the other way. People like weighed them during COVID and after, and it was like 10 kilos weight gain. And then what do they? When you look deeper into it, it's like it's a lack of. At that time, that's to do more with diet, but now it's they've kind of kept up those habits, sedentary lifestyle. They're not putting any thought into exercising because they're worried about where the next paycheck's coming from. So that's the thing in deprived communities. In other communities, there's still depression and anxiety because people may have money, but they're bored, and boredom's a big thing. So I'm not saying, well, why
Bored?
Yes. Can you believe that? People are actually bored.
We're the most entertained generation ever, bro.
Yeah. But that's the thing, isn't it? I mean,
Like, if you think about it, bro, yeah, like, we've got Netflix, bro.
Yeah.
HBO. You got, like, Premier League football. Like, it used to be on once a week before. Remember when we were growing up? Was
Yeah,
it once
yeah,
a
it
week?
was
Saturday
once a
game
week,
and
Saturday.
maybe a Monday night game, maybe.
and then Gazetta.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Go, Lazzo. That's it. And who else, bro? Then, but that's if you got Sky Sports or you just watch Match of the Day on Saturday,
Yeah.
bruv. Do you get me?
But
Like, now we're the most entertained.
that's true. That's true. I mean, you go on your phone.
I could do with a little bit boredom, bro, to be honest with you.
But you know what it is? I think people need to disconnect from this. Like,
So you're talking about, like, working age men,
yeah,
no kids.
no kids, working age men.
Yeah.
Don't really worry about money. A lot of my patients are still living at home.
Yeah.
So whether they contribute to bills or not, they just, some of them are just coming up, they're coming up with things that they're stressed about, but they're not really stressed. So you have to kind of look at their lifestyle.
Like what? Give me an example, kind of stuff. Like,
I had a patient the other day, and he came in. He said that, okay, look, don't get me wrong.
did he have symptoms of being stressed?
The thing is,
Like heart palpitations.
okay, so that's physical symptoms.
Yeah,
Yeah, physical
But
symptoms.
I'm not like. So you telling me
Yeah.
you've called you've went like this? Do you know what? I'm like stressed today, bro. Let me call my doctor.
Yeah.
Like that.
Oh, you get that.
Are you serious,
We get
bro?
that. We get that a lot. If I looked at my consultations for this week, I think probably about 20% would say stress or some kind of mood issue. Yeah. And in terms of young men, that's quite high. Young men
that's
are
interesting, man.
100%. I mean,
What do you reckon is the cause to it, from when you're speaking to them?
Yeah. For me, I think I'm going to always come from it from a sort of a biased perspective.
Yeah.
For me, I know personally, my stress release is training.
Yeah.
Other people, it may be something different. So you have to kind of find, what floats their boat.
Yeah.
Like some people might be reading a book, but to be honest, I always tell them, I go, that's good, but it doesn't negate the physical benefits and the mental benefits and spiritual benefits even of physical exercise. And I'll have a guy. He said to me, "But you know what, doc? I do like 15,000 steps." I go, "Yeah." But that's your normal. You're doing that to and from work. You need to do something above and beyond that. He goes, "Yeah, but I don't get time." I go, "If you look at your day, what time do you wake up? What time do you go to bed? You can take out half an hour. I don't think you need to exercise for longer than half an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, all right,
Minimum.
Yeah, minimum.
Yeah,
So the minimum national recommendations are 30 minutes of moderately intense exercise 5 times a week. Yeah. So moderately intense.
That means
that's subjective.
what does
right?
that mean?
That's subjective, isn't it? So for you and I, that's probably grappling or
Yeah.
doing some kind of something that's going to get our heart going. For sort of someone who's obese and overweight, that's a fast-paced walk. So it's open-ended. So that's why I always give them the option. Like, look, that's the minimum. If you can do above and beyond that, then fantastic. There is certain situations where I'd advise people not to go, above and beyond that. I mean, we're talking about
heart conditions,
heart conditions, arthritis, even women. They can lose their cycle. So I don't know
From
if
too
men-
much exercise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's something that's we see.
That's also because their body fat percentage goes
Exactly.
below a certain amount, isn't it?
Because in fact, estrogen is
Yeah,
released.
yeah.
So exactly that, and then that throws off your hypothalamic pituitary axis. I'm using some,
Cheese.
come on, I have to use some buzzwords, man. Especially that side. Of
Say that again.
Hypothalamic pituitary axis, yeah, which we have that as well for men as well. Like, because men have estrogen and testosterone.
But do you feel like this is gonna mad one?
No, go on.
Do you feel like? Because I read somewhere that women's grip strength
Yeah.
has increased. I don't know can you Google it, bro? Women's grip
Right.
strength has increased in the last 20 years or something.
Okay.
And men's grip strength has reduced
Interesting.
in the last 20 years. I think it's something like that, yeah?
Interesting.
I can't remember, 10 years, 15, I can't remember exactly and the rise of, so men now have become less masculine and women have become more masculine.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying exercise to do with it,
Yeah.
but obviously there's a fact, many things.
Yeah.
But what are the factors that would increase a woman's testosterone levels?
Apart from the fact that she would be exogenously injecting.
Yeah, not injected. So for
Okay,
example,
yeah.
like, I don't know, like
Reduce body fat. Reduced body
Okay,
fat.
so but women are more fatter now than they've ever been, bro.
That's true, but I don't think those are the women that you're going to have the increased grip strength in. I think probably whatever study that was, you have to look at the quality of the study.
Right.
Probably was done in athletes, maybe female athletes.
No, it was.
Oh,
Have you found it?
Was it generally?
What do you mean no?
I mean, no. I didn't find
And how are they measuring
Are
grip
you even
strength?
Googling it, bro?
I'm Googling.
Bro, you know, since he's come back from Amara, he's been mad lazy, you know that, bro. What are you doing behind there, bro?
I typed in women grip strength increased in the last year or what?
In the last year? Right. Go on, Doc.
Obviously, that's there's different metrics, isn't it? How do you then determine the grip strength? They must have a sort of a standardized way of calculating that. But for me, if the grip strength increases, obviously that equates to a rise in testosterone levels. And the only way that I would think that would happen is if, they're exercising more. There's more of this kind of, what's it called? Drive to doing strength training. I've seen a lot of women strength train nowadays, which isn't something that you would equate with equate with women.
Especially like squatting.
Yeah, squatting and doing those kind of exercises, which, I would assume, and probably from previous experience, majority of women that come and see us, they're like, they're into their Pilates, yoga, more that kind of stretching kind of stuff, which is fantastic as well. I believe it's because of, and I think also probably because they're measuring it now.
Right.
Because
the grip strength?
The grip strength, yeah. I think it's...
But I feel, so my question was...
Go on.
What is contributing? Because this is because look, we can't get around this, bro, yeah? There's a massive conversation happening right at this moment in time around masculinity.
Yeah.
Yeah? So... there's this whole toxic masculinity debate. I'm sick and tired of that, bro, yeah? And then there's this whole alpha male reaction to that now. Yeah? So the pendulum swung. So you got women being oppressed, yeah? Not having the vote, not having the right to own land and all that stuff, which is wrong, yeah? And you got the first wave feminism, second wave feminism, third. So the pendulum starts swinging this way. Past the centre line.
Now it's got onto that side.
Now there's a reaction. You got the Andrew Tates and you got all the other red pill guys that are
100%
online that are kind of, and that's a reaction to what's happening, You can't ignore, like we can't. I like to be centrist, right in the middle, slightly towards the masculine side,
of course.
But that's fine, and I believe women should have rights, of course. It's like, and equality and all that type of stuff, even 100%. Though that word is kind of loaded a little bit, because equal does not mean the same.
No.
So, what was my question? Yeah, so you've got this conversation happening now. So, and then you've got this whole mental health issue. You said you're a lot of men are stressed.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to poo-poo it,
No, of course.
But I don't think I remember my dad saying once. Have you ever heard him say, I'm stressed out?
I'm stressed. No, bro.
Never. Or he said, he's never said to us, I'm depressed.
I don't think you're going to hear that from ethnic parents, though, is it?
He probably was.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where that's just part of being.
That's part of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think.
I don't think it's right either, bro. Like there's a middle part.
I'll tell you my thoughts on it.
Go on.
I think the narrative's changed.
Yeah.
I think now that everyone's talking a lot more about these issues, and it's people are encouraged to talk now. Yeah, that's what happens.
Then you get the whiny people.
Yes, you get the whiny people.
You let the door open, they come in, innit?
That's right. People feel empowered. I think that's quite a strong word.
Yeah.
And I think
which I think is a good thing.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing, but I think it should have its restrictions in the sense that, okay, as men, and that's what we can only relate to our experience, right? Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard my dad say he was stressed, and I think we follow that model.
Yeah,
and that model is okay, cool. We internalize that because we don't want anyone else to feel that.
Yeah,
but we should also have mechanisms to be able to deal with that.
I think you should be able to talk to your friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you shouldn't be like embarrassed of, if you're in a situation, you should be able to talk to someone. That's important.
Absolutely. I think that with men, we feel speaking to someone. I mean, I think everyone's got their confidants, isn't it? Like, everyone's got their group or a couple of people that they really will offload to. But it's almost like you're giving a part of yourself away. You're
kind of like, you're showing weakness.
Yes.
Which you'd have to, how do I put it, man? Like, I've had conversations with Doc, like, even like that I haven't had with anyone, bro.
Of course.
But it's like it took a long time. But I know because he's very, and he's had conversations with me
Yeah,
as well, bro.
yeah.
Like, but we're how do I put it? We're measured in the way. I think when you get older, bro. I know we're hitting 40 soon, yeah, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And do you feel like as you get, like when I was younger, there's no way I'm telling you
Yeah, 100%.
my weakness, bro.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Definitely. I think
It was like kill or be killed, bro.
Yeah.
It was like, even with my wife, bro, like I found it difficult. I don't think I've ever cried in front of my wife, bro.
all right.
Like, it's not like something that I would find. Maybe I've shed a tear a little bit, or like when my son was born
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Man.
One of my kids was born, but not in front of anyone.
No, of course.
Like I'll try and hide. It's not something that I'd be very comfortable doing, innit?
But there's the opposite as well. There's oversharing. And I think that's
That-
happening a lot.
Yeah, bro.
And I mean, okay, you can argue that in the context that I see it in, it's a safe space. So people can say what they want to say.
Yeah.
And, you know, people have said a lot to me, and I'm like, you know, sometimes it's hard because if...
Have they ever confessed murders to you, bro?
I hope not. No.
Like, is it if they've confessed a murder to you, bro?
We
do you have to?
We have to report it.
Oh, okay, right.
Absolutely.
There's no
100%.
that,
No,
not
no,
that
no.
lawyers you can't kind of.
No. That kind of privilege. Yes. Yeah, there isn't. If there's something like that, we have to. It's all right.
But isn't that what a therapist is for, bro?
What's that?
Yeah, that's what I was
Why they
thinking,
go-
bro.
Yeah, so a lot of people. That's the thing. Again, improper use of resources. First person, the thing is, it's easy access, isn't
Yeah,
it?
you
Zach?
can get access to
You
a doctor, innit?
exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, albeit it's hard, but you can still kind of make a doctor's appointment easier than you can see a therapist. And the
And it's
therapist
free.
it's free, exactly. I mean, we have a service in Newham Talking Therapies. You contact them. It's self-referral, so you can go on Google, search it up, fill out an online form. You might as well wait 2 or 3 months. You're not getting contacted,
Yeah.
and then when they do, they're gonna,
You're better.
yeah, exactly. You're better by then. So the thing is that when you think about this, the other thing that I was thinking about as well, and I thought this might come up actually today, is there's a concept called transference. Yeah. So you've come to me, and you're, you know, like the 10th patient I've spoken to about like depression, anxiety.
Right, yeah.
So you've transferred, you offloaded. So I think in psychology it's called transference. So you've put that on me now.
Yeah, you've
So
ed
it's-
that, bro.
Yeah, so it's up to me to not keep that burden on me, and I have to offload that, because sometimes it can be quite, bro, you hear some things and you're like, oh, you know what?
Yeah,
SubhanAllah, I'm not in that.
abuse,
Absolutely.
like
domestic
rape,
abuse. Yeah.
bruv, all
yeah,
sorts of stuff, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's the other that goes back to sort of like, you know, changing the way you consult. Because because sometimes you might go, oh, you know, how can I help you? You're right today. And then suddenly say, no, I'm not all right because this has happened. And like suddenly, you know, you change the way you consult. You know, you lower your tone, you're mirroring kind of their body
Do you
language.
speak to anyone?
About,
Like, do you go to see us?
Okay, no,
Like,
so-
you said you transference.
yeah, so transference.
So do you have to transfer to
So
someone
you
else?
have to have mechanisms in place. Like I said, for me, it's some form of exercise.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to offload that, because if it's not offloading that, you're taking that. Then you've got the stresses of everyday life. Everyone has them, right? You know, finances, family, you know, all of that stuff. You know, again, you mentioned about sort of the masculine role, and you know, as we know historically, that's kind of the provider of the family.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times that you're not really worried about the other side of things. But I think when you become a doctor, there's a bit of blurred lines there as well, because for example, if your kid's unwell, usually it's the mother that's doing the mothering and like giving the Calpol, giving the, you know, getting the fever down, doing the, you know, tepid sponging, all that stuff. But you're kind of brought into that because you know that's your expertise, your field of expertise, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
of course. Yeah.
which you have to kind of accept. But going back to the point, so you need to take care of your own mental health. And I fully believe, that if you're not the best version of yourself, there's no way that I can treat you like in a good way. Because I want the best outcome for you. Because I've had patients that have been with me for like 3 years, man. They're on medication, and we're just about weaning them down off of antidepressant medication. It's taken that long. Because
And what kind of stuff is it? Like mad stuff?
No, it's again a lot of it is not mad stuff, but you know, like I said, going back to patient-centered consultations.
They want
If
the
your
pill, bro.
expectation is you want a pill, I'm trying to dissuade you from that. But really, that's what you want. I'm going to give it to you.
I remember when I was in just before I got married, after a few years before I got married, I went to the doctor. I said I was stressed out, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
guy gave me citalopram. You know,
Yeah,
is it citalopram?
Yeah, citalopram.
Didn't take it, rude boy. I was like, what? I don't know what I expected to hear from him. You know?
Yeah.
But I was having like.
Yeah, let me flip that on you for a second.
Yeah, go on.
What was your intention?
I can't see it on
Okay, no, that's fine. All right. No.
I had motives. Let's just put it that way.
That's fine.
I was listen. I was making moves.
All right.
Do you understand?
yeah. We're gonna leave that there.
Well, I'll tell you off air.
Yeah, definitely.
No, but I was seriously stressed out. I really was. I had sleepless nights, bro. Like,
Yeah, of course.
But the thought of just taking that thing,
Yeah.
I just find it a form of weakness, bro.
No, absolutely.
I was like, this pill cannot solve something that's in my mind, bro. Like, I didn't see it like that.
You're right. So certain people haven't been brought up that way.
Yeah.
So certain people, it's like I've known.
I'm not saying it is a weakness,
No,
bro,
of course.
but if you need it, take it, innit? But there's so many things you can do.
Listen, I've known of certain situations where kids getting given paracetamol because they're going on a long trip. For what reason?
Rude boy.
For what reason?
Paracetamol?
Yeah.
For what, bro?
Exactly. You told me.
Yeah, I knew someone that was giving their kids paracetamol every other night.
Why?
I don't know.
There's no rhyme or reason.
But there's a Munchausen syndrome, innit?
Munchausen's, that's hypochondria.
Yeah. So like projecting it on your
So that's
on your
that's
kids.
actually a condition. You know, it's in our manual for like diagnosing things. So
one
Munchausen by
second, bro.
proxy. Yeah.
Earfat's calling us, bro. Can you give him a call? Because he's bailing off my line, bro. Sorry, he's coming in next, innit? So.
Oh, yeah, okay, cool.
No, Karen.
Yeah. So, Munchausen by proxy. Yeah, it's a condition. Again, it's a lot of these psychological conditions. I can diagnose depression and anxiety, but if you've got bipolar, if you've got paranoid schizophrenia, we see a lot of that, by the way. A lot of cannabis-induced exactly. And these conditions need to be managed by psychiatry. But unfortunately, what happens is they can't manage everyone. So
and there's very few of them as well. There's not many.
Yeah, there's not many.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, GPs were used as like a dumping ground.
Yeah.
So a lot of people go into A&E, and I have utmost sympathy for A&E clinicians. I think it's very hard for them. It's an 8-hour wait at the moment, minimum. But I don't think, and it's dangerous. And I know Amir touched upon like the strain of the NHS. It's unreal at the moment. We've got 13,000 patients in our practice, and there's only 4 or 5 of us that are regular. And for that many patients, you really need about 8 doctors.
So that's 2,000, 3,000 a doctor.
Yeah. Per doctor, and it's it's way too much. The thing is, unfortunately, the people who are getting appointments sometimes are not the ones that need it. But like I said, you don't know what someone's calling for. So
I was going to touch something, and we're going to talk about grappling now because I think that's very important. You touched upon it quite a bit about training and how you. But I feel like sometimes pain, like, how dare we be in pain kind of thing. This is the kind of mentality we come from. Like, if I've got like pain, like I shouldn't be in pain, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And I know it sounds weird, but like sometimes you got to just ride things out. Like sometimes things are difficult.
Yeah, 100%.
And a pill is not going to take you out of that difficulty. It's just going to either numb. The difficulty is still there. It's just the way you react to it is different, isn't it?
Yeah.
So like things like, for example, hardship in your life, especially when it comes to mental health issues, a lot of this depression. I mean, someone explained it to me. I actually read it in a book. It goes that anxiety is the fear of what's about to happen, and depression is the not the fear, but the regret.
Living in the past.
Yeah, living in the past, bro.
Yeah.
So like a lot of that can just be about really working on yourself, bro. 100%. Like actually taking some time and thinking, having mental frameworks in which to work in, bro.
Absolutely.
And wallahi, I think religion is very important.
Completely agree.
Like imagine you, like for example, like you're an atheist, and all you believe is that whatever you see, whatever you touch is what is reality. Yeah. Yeah. And when you die, that's it.
There's that hashtag, isn't it? No design. Yeah. You look at the human body. Like, come on.
Yeah. It's crazy, bro.
It's crazy. I mean, you look at the...
But what's funny, they can look at a pyramid and say aliens made it. Yeah. But But do you understand what I'm saying, bro? But I start seeing things, you know, like these atheist guys, yeah? They'll attribute things to aliens, but they can't get their head around the existence of God, bro. They just can't get their head around it. And a lot of it is just the arrogance, bro. Because when they're deep at night, by themselves, they're truly, truly honest. They can't deny the fact, bro.
Yeah, you have to ponder. Like, why, I think that question,
yes,
why are we here?
We're not talking about religion.
No.
We're talking about the existence of God and your purpose on this earth. And a lot of it is, imagine, I can't imagine, I say this to my kids, imagine waking up and that whole sleep that you've had, where did you go?
Yeah.
They still don't understand now. Where did you go, bro? What happened to you in those 8 hours or 6 hours or whatever?
They say it's the lesser death, don't they?
This is it. Where have you gone in that time? We still haven't figured it out, but we're walking around like normally in the daytime.
I have some mad dreams though.
Is it?
Mad dreams.
All the time?
Like, I've
I
had
hate
some,
dreams, bro.
Oh, yeah, like, I think one of the worst ones I had was back in 2011.
Right, you actually remember?
Yeah. This one was like, I was living in Manchester at the time, and I had to go and rent a different house. I was living in a flat, and then I wanted to rent a house. So I went to view it that day, and it was like, a really nice house. Rent was like £800 for the month for like a 3-bed semi. Exactly. Where are you going to find that? You can't even find a room in London for that much nowadays. So I said, right, cool, I'm going to put the deposit down. And then later that evening, I had a dream. I went into the house. It was a nightmare, actually. Went into the house, and I just saw this being with fangs, red hair, said, I want blood from your jugular vein. I was like, that's pretty specific, bro.
He's a doctor.
Was that pretty specific? It was a woman.
Oh, it was a woman?
It was
Whoa.
a woman, yeah. And then...
Was she the landlord? Was that?
No, I'm not. So then, and then at that time, my daughter was going to be born, and we were going to name her a different name. And then it kept saying, that name's going to die, that name's going to die. Oh. And then got the dream interpreted. And like, I don't know if you've ever experienced that kind of, what they say is sleep paralysis.
Yes, I have
kind of, that pressure on your chest. And then I must have let out some kind of a
scream,
roar or something. I was reciting and stuff.
Of course, a roar, not a scream. Sorry, how dare I say scream?
We're talking about masculinity, bro. Come on, it's gonna be a roar, isn't it? But
Aurangzeb.
Yeah, that's right. I have to live up to the name.
That's it, bro.
I have to live up to the name. So let out this roar, and then obviously I was a bit like disturbed by the dream. I couldn't sleep in that room. Was
this in that house?
No, I was in my uncle's house.
Right.
And then I got the dream interpreted. Firstly, the sheikh he goes, don't rent that house.
Oh, is it?
Firstly, he goes, there's something dark in there. Don't go there. Secondly, change the name of your daughter, and don't tell anyone, because people had got to know, and it was kind of maybe some ain or something like that.
Who knows, bro?
Who knows?
Yeah.
But anyways, we changed it. Now she's called Safa. So it's like, alhamdulillah. She's blessed. So yeah, those kind of like that. Yeah. Again, with tying it back to sort of mental health. Someone could have those dreams and be like, oh, I can't understand that, but I can, because I've got a purpose and I know why we have those dreams and why.
I've had dreams where
I did the Masculinity that night.
Yeah, 100%, bro. I've had dreams where like it was subhanAllah recently, bro.
Yeah.
Like I was going through a bit of a rough patch, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start implementing tahajjud, bro. I haven't done it in a long time. Let me. I was just feeling mad stress, bro.
Yeah.
You know what our lifestyle is like, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not something that you choose. Let's say, if you said to me, I'll be doing what I'm doing now when I was 21, it'd be like, bro, where did you find the time to do this, bro? Yeah. Bro, mad, bro, tight chest, like I can't, just agitated. Even in training, I wasn't like. Anyway, I thought, you know what? Let me start making praying tahajjud, bro. So I started praying 1 week, waking up, praying. And then 4 days in, bro, I had this most vivid, I can't remember exactly what the dream was, but I felt like something was leaving my body, bro. It was weird. It was so weird, bro, yeah? So I'm sleeping, and I get up, I'm sweating, bro. And it was like, when I got up, it felt like, imagine You're holding something. The best, I was watching this thing about this guy smoking a cigarette. He goes, it feels like I've been standing up my whole life and I just sat down. You know that? You know, from that. That's what it felt. It felt like I've been standing for such a long time and then I just sat. You know that feeling? Oh, when I got up, I just felt that release, bro. SubhanAllah. And you don't understand, like, it was just because to those guys who are listening who don't know what tahajjud is a form of, as Muslims we pray 5 times a day, which is our obligatory prayers. So tahajjud is a prayer which is done before the first. So this is optional, right? And it's done normally at a specific time. Like it's like last third of the night. So whenever the sun sets, you divide that by 3.
Yeah.
The last, I think that's after Isha, I think, and the last third.
It's the last third, isn't it?
Yeah. So right today, so now it would be, so sunrise is about 6:45, right? Something like that.
Yeah, around about sunrise 7:30.
7:30. So no, Fajr is what 6:15,
something like that.
6:15.
Yeah.
So it would be like 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like that. And it's a way of you're getting up in the middle of the night, or that no one's awake. It's just you and your direct connection, bro. And there's something about that specific thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like a consultation, bro.
Absolutely.
It's like going to see your doctor. But it's the one who designed you, bro.
That's it.
And you complain and you ask and you have the sincerity that it's only... I ask you because you're the one who is going to solve my problems.
That's the beauty of our religion, that we have that direct connection.
That's it, bro.
The direct connection.
5G, bro. 6G.
That's it. Whatever it's just
whatever it is, yeah.
Wherever you are.
So subhanAllah, found that, you know, and that was the sunnah of the older prophets. They used to do this. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a very good tool if you are Muslim and you pray, even if you're not, bro.
Definitely, especially if you're afflicted with whatever
stress and
with stress,
because, bro, complaining to a human, really, okay, you're gonna. But there's something different about waking up at that specific time.
Yes, that's the other flip side as well.
Yeah.
Is that a lot of stress and anxiety can get sort of labelled as ain or some other kind of afflictions, which definitely exists. And I would say, you know, get your spiritual consultation, get that done as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Go and see a sheikh who's like an expert in that field.
Yeah, 100%.
Just as you would come to see a doctor.
But a lot of it, bro, in this ruqya, you should do it yourself.
You could do it yourself.
But do it yourself, bro.
Absolutely.
Have the mental strength to go and actually. Yeah. And the thing is, sometimes, bro, you're not in control.
You're not in control, exactly.
As soon as you know that, I have a massive problem with this. I've always been anxious, bro, ever since I was little. Like just an anxious kid. Very, my antenna is very sensitive.
Like on edge.
Always.
Right.
Like I remember as a kid, bro, like someone would say something and like it's a throw, and for me, bro, I'm thinking about it for 2-3 days, bro. What did he mean by that? Why did he say that to me?
Okay.
That's what I hear in my head.
That's long.
But can you imagine that, bro?
Man forgets about it.
I know, but that's my character, innit? Everyone has their own their own thing, innit? Like that's, do you see what I'm saying? Some people, you think you forget about it, but really it's affecting you other ways because you can see it because you say, oh, you know what, I forget about it, but really
it might affect me,
it affecting you. Maybe you've shouted at your kid when you didn't have to, bro. Or
probably
like, and sometimes the emotional intelligence is important.
Yes.
Do you see what I'm saying?
And it's that thing is that when you have that, is like, for example, when you're coaching, you have to then be able to compartmentalize. Because when you're coaching now, that's taking precedence, and you have to be able to kind of separate, isn't it?
100%, bro. Let's talk about grappling, bro, because I think this...
Yes.
I don't know how you even start. When did you start, bro?
Okay, so I started, believe it or not, back... So I used to do wrestling. I used to go to... It was Up to Lane Mosque first. When when I used to teach there. It was very infrequent there. And then when it moved to Leytonstone School, I was in uni.
Right.
So a little story about that. I think probably people in the gym have already heard it, but the people listening. So I around about 2004, 2005. So I turned up late to a class one time. So just say 8:30 and you turn up at 9. So you've missed the warm up. And you know what the warm up's like. It's something that you don't mind missing.
Did you miss it on purpose?
No, I was legitimately studying. Yeah, I was at university. So I come back and you know, Amir, he's stopped the whole class. And he goes, all right, so you were studying, yeah? He goes, all right, what's the exact anatomical point of the appendix? So I said, so, you know, like you have to, because it's specifically according to landmarks. So I gave him the right, exactly, it's called McBurney's Point. I gave him the right exact anatomical location. He goes, you saved yourself. Double warm up. So do your press ups, do this, do that, and you're right.
So he was one that got you into grappling,
Yeah,
basically.
so I think
Initially.
my initial martial arts kind of like where I was introduced to martial arts, I did kung fu.
No way.
I didn't do karate. You know, a lot of people do karate.
Yeah.
I did kung fu, and it was called Shaolin Mizong Kung Fu.
Of course it was, bro.
Yeah. There's a lot of kung fu. So it wasn't like Wing Chun and stuff. It was like, you know, like...
Shaolin one.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, you know, how you do katas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a similar sort of thing with that. One thing I did like about
Where did you do it?
It was a Wanstead Leisure Centre.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they had like some Master Lu.
Was he Chinese guy?
Yeah. Didn't speak a word of English. So he had this guy, Han, who was his like right-hand man who just translated everything.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. He could have been saying all sorts to us, but we didn't know. So it was me and my friend that were in Murtaza, actually. He's my best friend from school. He's also a dentist. We went to everything together. Then after we thought, this is a bit like just doing forms and stuff and like not really. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Our flexibility went through the roof. Was able to do the splits and everything.
No way.
Yeah. And we had high kicks and everything, but there wasn't anything sort of like there was no sparring, so there wasn't any kind of we weren't satisfied. And then we ended up going to Thai boxing, and actually the guy who taught us Thai boxing is Khalid's friend, Asen. I don't know if you know.
Asen, yeah.
So we used to go every Sunday morning to a community centre in Walthamstow, and it was just Sunday mornings we used to train.
Okay.
And honestly, hardest training I've ever done.
Asen's a lunatic, bro.
He's a lunatic.
Yeah.
He's a lunatic. But you know what? The warm up, everything from that got us so well conditioned. But I craved doing more, but just there wasn't anything available. So then I went to orthodox boxing. So I went to a club that wasn't too far from my house. It's called Gator ABC. It's quite a famous one now. Bro, 50p for the session.
Wow.
And I realised why I used to pay so little, because they weren't interested in making money from that. They were looking at the next big talent.
They'll pay for everything.
Exactly. Yeah. So you used to have some pros that used to go in at different times.
To lower the bar to get,
Yeah. So again, I've always had that kind of thing. And then I went off to uni. I kind of dropped off a little bit. And I started back doing started jiu-jitsu in 2004 in SOAS Uni. Used to be in the basement. So I used to get on the central line, go to Holborn every Wednesday evening, go train there, and the basement was baking. There was no ventilation whatsoever. And you know what? I used to be taught by, at the time, a purple belt called Louis Toster, he was an MMA fighter as well. At the time, he was a purple belt. He's black belt now.
Okay.
You know what? I reached out to him on Instagram like recently, like I said about a year ago. I said, bro, do you remember you used to teach me? Read my message, it aired me, man.
Oh.
So, Luis, I'm coming for you.
You took everything now.
But we learned quite a bit there. And that was it was no gi.
Right.
So I remember just going in like just sort of your jogging bottoms and your t-shirt. So there wasn't any gi around. I mean, there probably was, but you know.
2004 was like.
2004.
Yeah.
And then we also used to train on Sunday at KO Gym in Bethnal Green.
Right, yes.
So there's another guy called James who now was teaching there's another gym in Forest Gate. I don't know if it's still open. It's, you know, that Wildfighters gym. You know that there's the guy that comes.
Oh yeah.
So James is teaching there,
right?
And he's one of like kind of the earliest black belts as well. He responded back to my message.
Oh, he did, yeah. James, what's his surname?
Duncalf, I think his name is.
Right.
Yeah, I think his Instagram handle is something like the Ronin MMA or something like that.
Okay, right.
But so we used to again no gi.
Who's his coach?
I don't know. I didn't. Yeah, at that time I didn't.
A lot of guys are Hajj guys, isn't it?
Yeah, majority of them aren't they?
Yeah.
So. So then, and then again, dabbled in and out of wrestling at you know, with Amir. One thing I was thinking about this. I was like, all right, at that time, it would have been 1920.
Yeah.
So Amir's what, about 4 or 5 years older?
Yeah.
Bro, he was teaching at 25.
Yeah.
He was fully teaching at 25.
Yeah. But he was teaching since he was 18, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Even back then.
Yeah.
Who teaches? I can't even find anyone who's... Bro, we're at 25-year-olds at the gym now.
Yeah.
I can't see any of them being able to teach the way he taught. And that's no disrespect to them.
Yeah, it's different, bro.
And he's always had that, and I see it in you as well with the coaching. Yeah, alhamdulillah. You know, I learn because there's certain ways that we learn, and he always had that kind of, you know, that nature.
He's passionate about it.
He's passionate about it.
That's number one. Start with the passion.
Yes.
If you're not passionate about it, the second bit is going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
Like the actual, And like you said about being a doctor, it's being patient-centric.
Yeah.
So with coaching, you'll be student-centric.
Absolutely.
It's not about you. Because a lot of the times, I've seen coaches that are very vain. And it's about their reputation, bro. Like, it's about my reputation. You're part of my gym. You're part of the... When you strip it down, it's a lot of talk, but not enough. Like, do you really care about this student, bro?
Yeah.
Like, does that make sense?
It happens a lot in jiu-jitsu.
Big time. But I think martial arts in general,
yeah,
there's a lot of this hero worship type. Oh, you're my coach. You have to respect your coach. It's very important. But you as a coach, you can't be doing that. If you have a personality problem, if you have like if you're a narcissist, martial arts is the worst thing for you to do, bro.
Absolutely.
Coaching wise.
Yeah.
It's the worst. And I've trained under narcissistic coaches, bro. And
you don't get anything out of it.
You don't get anything out of it.
You get nothing out of it. Going back to the journey, because it's a journey, isn't it?
Yeah,
we're all on our own journey.
Yeah.
So I left, like, I didn't do anything, but obviously I followed UFC throughout. Always into mixed martial arts and stuff like that. I, had the tapes from UFC 1 those days. So still kind of followed it, but then went more into sort of just keeping fit at the gym. Obviously life gets in the way. You're working 100-hour weeks sometimes in hospitals. It's very difficult to kind of commit. And then came back to it 2019 and started training with Luqman. So just got the love for jiu-jitsu again, but always had that inside love for wrestling. So even when I started jiu-jitsu again, I always like stand up. And and even Luqman said, he goes, "Oh, you can wrestle." And I said, "Oh, I had a little bit of, I still remember what we did," because it kind of got built in as when you're younger. This is why I emphasize anyone who's listening to this podcast who's a youth, anyone age, young. I'm guessing the people that listen to this are probably 18 and above anyway. Not because it's explicit content. But
sometimes, bro.
But generally, exactly. Yeah. Generally, you have to do some form of combat sport. I can't stress it enough. And doing all the running and playing football and all that stuff, but I'm not just saying from the fact that physically it's beneficial, but mentally, not that even that you can handle yourself. It's not even that. It opens up a different part of the brain for learning. And I think a lot of people, like I said, people learn in different ways, isn't it? That, like, for me, I'm a visual learner. I need to see the technique. I need to do the technique and then bank it. We have this thing in medicine: see one, do one, teach one.
Yeah, we always talk about
that, exactly. And it works, because if you're able to then, that's how we do it. That's how we learn procedures. When we put a cannula in a vein, we're going to see it first, then we're going to attempt it under supervision, and then once we've mastery of the technique is being able to teach it and to be able
teach
to
100%,
teach it, but teach it to a degree. And it's all the nuances of certain techniques. As you know, when you're coaching wrestling, I see it in wrestling. Mashallah, the wrestling cohort's got quite big now.
Yeah, mashallah, bro.
Mashallah, and I could see that there's different abilities within that class.
Yeah.
And certain people need more spoon feeding, others need just they need to see it maybe once or twice, and they've got it. And that's, I think, with you as a coach, I can see that. You can see that that you really. It's everyone can benefit. Like I said, if you've got a narcissistic coach, well, he's only there for his own benefit.
I think also, like, I've noticed, I don't know if you heard me say it in class here, but, and I'm saying it because I used to do it,
Yeah.
There's stop thinking. Now, what I mean by that is, like, sometimes we show a technique, and they're thinking too much about it.
Yeah.
Especially when you do something with your body, thinking about it stops the flow of how you're going to do it. Sometimes you have to, like, I give you an example with, like, arm drag, when we used to teach arm drag, like, I had to develop how to teach an arm drag.
Yeah.
Because when I was first above, that move, when you look how dynamic it is, like, it looks easy, but it's very dynamic.
Yeah, it is.
When I'm going to try and teach it to kids. Bruv, try and go to, next time you see your kid, try and teach them an arm drag. Like, it's very difficult. So it took me about 10 years of teaching. It took me a long time to, okay, you know what? Just put arm there, just throw it away. Boom, boom, boom. Break down the move. So they're not thinking 5 steps ahead. I just want you to think about this one step first and then start to join it together. Yeah? Because then you figure, okay, there's footwork involved now.
Yeah.
Because arm drag is not just, it's not kung fu, bro. No. It's not just like...
No, exactly.
There's footwork, even kung fu there's footwork, but it's not this kind of magic thing that you're doing. There's footwork involved. So it takes time. So it took time. So I had to sit. Okay, sometimes I would sit and watch, like the class, and I look. Okay, so that guy. Okay, he's doing that. Then I say to everyone, I stop. Okay, if I see 5 people doing the same mistake, I have to stop and get everyone to think. And I think Amir does what he does as well. Is he once he's taught the move once or twice, he gets someone else to.
That's right. He does. Yeah.
That's the whole. Was it teach?
See one, do
see
one.
one, do one, teach one.
That's right.
And the thing is, we do that in our class as well, and I try and get other. Don't go to the same people. Go to the ones that don't know how to do the move, and get them to come and do it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And it also gives them that thing that I know it's that people are watching.
Yeah.
That really helps.
Does help, bro.
It massively helps.
And you need to create an environment of acceptance that making a mistake is okay, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're there for. We're there to learn. Obviously, there's going to be mixed abilities. We know that. Some people are going to get it quicker than others. We know that. And obviously, they're the people that are going to be a little bit less. Some people are there just because they want to have, I mean, I think majority of people that come, especially the wrestling class, they're genuinely there because they like wrestling.
Yeah.
And because bro, there's a lot easier ways to keep fit, isn't there?
100%, bro.
But honestly, the fact that I've seen some faces there that are regulars, and they're there consistently.
Yeah.
And they're making progress.
Yeah, big time.
And I think one thing that is a credit to you guys is the coming up with the curriculum.
Yeah.
I think that's lacking in a lot of places, and I see that with other places. They just teach something random, and like for example, Amir stays on something like you're on a series. Like now at the moment we're doing nogi, we're doing triangles,
yes,
and in gi we're doing something different. But that's how you develop, because you're learning every part. And I think one of the main things, and I was just thinking to myself, like, what would if I was to start again, or if I was to teach. What would I start teaching first? Like from a jiu-jitsu point of view, I'm nowhere I could teach wrestling, but
why not, bro?
In terms of
once you've gone through the whole system, the whole point is you should be able to teach it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's
you should be able to teach it, bro. Because then you'll know whether you know the move or not.
And I think I would I would teach it from how I understand it firstly, and I would break it down into sort of biomechanics and alignment of your body.
100%.
Yeah, where the head goes, the body follows. That's one of the things that I learned from Luqman, and I was like, it's always stuck with me.
Yeah.
Move the head.
Yeah.
If you move the head, and you see it even when you've got a collar tie on someone, manipulating the head. Where's the body? The body's going to follow it. You know what I mean? If I'm stood correctly, standing up straight, and everything's in alignment, I'm strong in that. Yeah. As soon as something goes, like your head goes to the side, you're off. That side becomes weak. So it's all about manipulating things, and then I think. Even just learning basic physics, because that's what I think it comes to, doesn't it?
100%.
Off balancing, all this kazushi, and the term that they use. That's why I started to watch a lot of judo recently, because judo and wrestling both off balancing. It's the biggest part of our sport, I think, isn't it?
Big time.
Right.
Sympathetic. Yeah. So it's things like sympathetic movement.
Yeah, exactly.
So like when you move something else is going to move. Like if I move my arm like this. Yeah, eventually I'm going to end up, because there's a point where I'm going to stop moving.
Yeah.
So then my body has to turn. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, for example, when you got a head snap, if I just snap like this, his head's not just going to move. No. His whole body's going to move.
Exactly.
So, like, when you understand that the body's connected, it's weird, bro, because people think that things are in isolation.
And it will click. It clicks for people at different times. So you might be teaching an arm drag, and it may not click, but then when you go into 2-on-1, you'll be like, okay, the arm drag makes sense now. And again, from like a body mechanics point of view and biomechanics, I would say, and when you've been in like joint locks and things like that in jiu-jitsu, okay, you understand, right, if I put on a heel hook, it's going to devastate, the MCL, the ACL is going to go, it's going to possibly cause a fracture. And obviously in training, we're not going to do that. We're not going to whack it on. But and it for me, it reinforces my medical knowledge, because I'm like, okay, cool. The difference between a choke and a strangulation. There is a big difference. A choke is asphyxiation. You're compressing the trachea, the windpipe, whereas a strangulation is compressing the arteries. So the difference. So you're going to go out the respiratory side, so the trachea. It's going to take a lot longer. Whereas if you're doing a blood choke, or it should be called a strangulation technically, if you're a Danaher kind of nerd, correct your terminology on it. It'll be about 6 or 7 seconds, and then it shuts off. So. Just from that point of view, like learning, and I mean, for me, grappling, I think also the fact that I do like striking, but I have demons about hitting to the face. Yeah. I'm not fully okay with that. But learning it is completely fine. Like I would love to do that, just don't have the time to do it.
Yeah.
So what I've done before when I was training 5 times a week, I thought it was a bit excessive, and I wasn't being as consistent. But now I've whittled it down to 3 times a week. I would like to come more, but obviously everyone's got
Yeah, of course.
their own sort of responsibilities. So what I've done now is do Monday I go for gi class, Wednesday I come to your wrestling class, and then Friday I do no gi.
Yeah, it's perfect.
And it's perfect.
Yeah.
And then I haven't been able to hit open mat yet, but it's there, isn't it? The
Yeah.
option is there if you want to train more. I'm injured at the moment, so that's the other thing.
Hamza, he's coming for you. You've taken everything.
Hamza, bless you. Nah, it was now again prehab's very important. Been doing, and shout out to Coach Khalid, man. That the Athlete 8, I'm gonna plug it. I don't care.
100%
The
plug your
Athlete
way,
8
bro.
programs, they are the ones. I've done volume 2 and volume 3, and honestly, I've noticed significant improvements in.
I'm gonna start mine on Monday, bro.
Really, from the
I
strength.
know he said don't start things on Monday, but I've been scared to do it
Yeah.
just because I'm a lazy git, bro.
But shall I
So
tell you
I'm
that-
really used to kind of doing the same exercises.
Yeah,
do you get me?
yeah,
Where
yeah.
this is kind of like something outside of,
100%.
not really outside, but like, yeah, I haven't done these movements in a while, bro. So
The other thing I would say on that is track everything.
yeah,
Because I just opened up notes in my phone. Did week 1, day 1. Okay, so trap bar deadlift. This is how much I'm doing, and it gives you the percentages as well and what you need to aim for. And that
he
way
needs
you
to make that into an app, bro. I told him. And inshallah, I'm
Yeah,
gonna try
so
and get him
yeah.
to.
If
Imagine
it-
that was an app,
oh,
bro.
Then you're just inputting data.
Yeah.
And data is what we like to see. Like, why do we wear our Whoop bands? It's the
Shout out to the
shout out to
Whoop
Whoop,
crew.
man. Honestly, the data it gives you and the metrics, like it clocked even on, I think on Sunday, because I was coming down with this cold as well. Respiratory rate was elevated.
Yes, same.
Yeah, and it knew that
On my body temperature, bro.
body temperature baseline because it knows you, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's intuitive. I think Ifti's getting it as well.
Oh, he's getting it, yeah.
Yeah. So we have to add him to the group,
Yeah,
innit?
we have to add him,
Obviously,
I don't know if you want- I
he
wanna-
won't beat sleep champion.
Yeah, I'm like, undefeated, bruv. Undefeated.
Yeah.
So you started with Luqman.
Yeah.
MashaAllah, shout out to Luqman on getting his
Shout out.
4 stripes, bro.
MashaAllah.
Hopefully black belt this year or
Inshallah.
thereabouts, inshallah.
Yeah.
He's almost there. He's touching it, bro.
Yeah.
He's probably got one hand on it already.
Yeah,
bro.
that's it.
No, he's probably bought the belt already.
But like they said,
He's got it on his thing just.
well, like
Yeah.
Simon Hayes said in when he was promoting him, goes, this guy's a black belt.
Yeah.
His skill level is black belt, but he just hasn't known him long enough.
Yes, of course.
Which is fair. And I think when he was teaching in East, he gave a lot of time to teaching.
Yeah.
And alhamdulillah, I did a lot of privates with him as
Yeah,
well.
mashallah.
And if anyone, like again, we like to promote the people that we know.
Of course, bro.
And honestly, there's a lot of stuff that I learned from, because he's got a sports science degree as well. Or,
Yeah.
forgive me if that's not the exact one, but he's got a degree in sports, so he knows the body, and I think that massively helps. That's why when Amir's teaching us as well,
Also, he's a massive nerd.
Rough, 100%,
Biggest
100%.
jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
fighting nerd ever, bruv.
Absolutely, he'll tell you some facts from like.
Yeah, he
from,
needs his own podcast,
he
you know
does,
that.
he
Like,
does,
I think if he had the time, just put a camera in front of him
yeah,
and get him just to
definitely.
kind of like, yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah.
so yeah, definitely. And I mean, a lot of my fundamentals learned there, massively promoted me actually to blue belt it was 2021, June 2021.
MashaAllah.
So, and obviously now he's moved to I think West somewhere.
Yeah.
But alhamdulillah, and then it's only homecoming, wasn't it, really?
Yeah.
Coming back to Legion.
That's it, mashallah.
And I think that's the other thing. I mean, I don't think people realise, and I think a lot of people may watch this and may be a bit apprehensive in coming because they see our pictures maybe, and everyone
Yeah,
looks a bit
everyone-
intimidating, But honestly, it's such a welcoming environment, for everyone. And there's people from all walks of life. Everyone does something different. And like when you need something from someone, you know someone.
You're going to
isn't it?
find someone.
You're gonna find
Lawyer,
someone.
dentist, doctor,
Everything.
unemployed,
Yeah,
student.
You're gonna find
All sorts.
someone.
And you know what? SubhanAllah, there's people have racked up relationships in the sense of someone's out of work and the person's found a
Yeah.
job for him or took him under their wing, or like someone's going through something
Yeah.
that someone else is going through. I think that's important to create that.
People interested in medicine. So
Yeah,
I've had Amin, he shadowed me recently.
Yeah, I mean, he came to you as well, yeah?
Yeah, he shadowed me recently.
Mashallah.
So, I think, again, it's good to learn, be able to help where you can, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it goes back to that thing about helping, kind of, it's unconditional for us.
It's like Freemasons, bro.
Yeah.
We're like the Freemasons.
What degree are we at, though?
I don't know. I don't know. What degree should be at, man? We'll have to put a pin on that one,
Second
bro.
degree blue belt.
but that's the thing. It's like a club, bro. Like you know how there are country clubs.
Yeah.
We just strangle each other. That's the difference.
In our pajamas.
In our pajamas, exactly, bro.
No, it's fine.
So how does grappling help you with? You've kind of touched upon it a little bit, but like, how important is it to you right now?
Right now, massively. That's why I'm a bit stressed, because obviously I'm injured. I'm out for a good few weeks now, but also you got to listen to your body.
Yeah.
And maybe, obviously, we believe that this happens for a reason, because of Allah, I have to take this time, but it doesn't stop me from being interested in still maintaining that. I'm still keeping fit. I'll try to do stuff at the gym, albeit upper body stuff. Can't really do any cardio. Really important for mental health and stress levels. I don't think there's anything better for me personally than grappling. And I think also the bonds that you build when you're on the mat is just unparalleled. There's nothing that I personally have been through in any kind of team building. Maybe you've been paintballing with colleagues. Nah, it doesn't come close. I
have a theory on that, bro.
Yeah.
And this is my theory, bro. I was watching Jack Ryan, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, what's that show?
I've seen the first episode with the.
It gets better, bro.
It
gets better. See that first season, obviously is
with the two kids in it,
Muslims
and,
and stuff in it. Yeah, but like it gets better. Like it's not. I'm not here to promote the show. I'm just the reason because there's the Navy SEALs.
Oh yeah.
And like the way they are together and the brotherhood and all this stuff, because they've gone through something traumatic together, and I feel jiu-jitsu, wrestling, it's something similar in the sense that when you're rolling with someone and your body doesn't know that it's not real.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So your body
yeah.
is, and your hormones and all your mind maybe does.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like your muscles, it doesn't know it's not real. It doesn't know that the person that you're rolling with is not trying to kill you.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So think about it. If you get strangled, bro, someone's taking your back. Technically, you're dead, bro.
Yeah.
Not technically, but like
Kill position.
Yes, a kill position. Yeah. Someone extends your leg the opposite way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've had it, bro. And to be honest, there is that fear as well. Like, especially when they get an arm or get an ankle.
Of course.
I mean, when you get like the blood choke or strangulation or the what's the other one?
Or just from
asphyxiation. Yeah, one or two. I mean, that you can kind of, it's fine because you're not breaking anything.
Yeah.
But when you get like Danny last time, oh my God, he got me in a wrist lock. I swear I went to bite him, bro. I was actually but what happened was I had him in a front headlock, and in wrestling the front headlock is like this.
Yes.
Yeah, so you go. So obviously, look, my wrist is, so imagine it's under his chin and he's pushed my wrist that, which is fair game, bro. And I couldn't even tap because think about it, both my hands were like this. Yeah, so I couldn't even tap. So I'm like shine in his ear, tap. He let go, obviously. But that was killing, bro, after that.
Of course.
Yeah, and if he kept on going,
there's no gift.
I'm not writing any checks after that, bro. I'm not.
I think vulnerability.
It's vulnerability, bro.
Vulnerability.
Like and you get injured.
Yeah.
You get injured. You get your tennis. I've had tennis elbow at 10 times, bro. Like from getting your arm extended. So I feel like, imagine you're rolling with these people. You've and again, you might be like you said, you might roll with someone heavier than you.
Yeah.
And he's smushing you. He's
100%.
putting you into mincemeat, bro. And so I feel that is the reason why the bond is so strong, because you've shared a quote unquote traumatic experience with regards to
Definitely.
your body thinking that it's traumatic,
And you feel so good after it as well. It's like, you roll with someone, you might have got mullered that round, yeah? And with Danny, it's usually the case. Footlock this, footlock here, footlock there. But, but you asked a lot of questions of yourself and of the other person. And one thing that, again, Lukman taught me, he goes like, just be very conscious about when you're rolling, meaning that, like, you should be able to dictate, or you should be able to like recall exactly what happened in the roll.
Yes.
Be conscious throughout, because it's, as much as it's a fight, but also it's like you have to be aware, because otherwise that's where you learn, isn't it? Like, all right, ended up and have that debrief. If you get a chance with your training partners, have that debrief. Okay, bro, you know what? You put me in this position, but I did this. How did that feel? Because one thing I think still kind of struggle with is, that weight distribution. Can you really feel my pressure? Do you know what I mean? And because that's like, you don't know your own side control. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can only feel what others are sort of exerting on you. And then it's almost kind of like a learned thing. Like, okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And I feel like it's the best analogy I can come up with is, when you grab a cup, you can grab it like this, or you can grab it like this.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So grabbing it like this, you've got the cup, but it's a vulnerable, it can fall off at any time. If you're in side control and your hips are high, you're in side control, but your hips are high. Now you can get rolled.
Yes.
He might not roll you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But if you catch that side control and you're literally exerting that pressure from the hips down and maintaining that position, it's like holding the cup like this. You know you've got the cup. Now you can decide the next position.
Absolutely.
But if it's in a precarious position, you're thinking, how do I maintain the position instead of thinking about the next move, bro?
I think pattern recognition as well. So what happens when I learned a lot from being in bad positions, because I'll be like, all right, how would I react? So if someone's got you in side control and you want to hip escape, get a knee in, recover guard, but they don't allow that, or they go knee on belly. Your natural instinct is to push the knee off.
Yes.
That opens up your left arm.
That's
for
what
a
they
kimura.
want you to do. Yeah.
That's what they want you to do. I always get caught in that. So you're like, all right, do I firm the knee on belly and try to think of a different way, or don't even get to knee on belly in the first place? Trying to put those measures in. But again, it's pattern recognition. I think that's why it takes so long. Grappling in general, not just jiu-jitsu, I think wrestling's tough.
Yeah.
Wrestling is tough. It's like, I listened to the last podcast with Kane, and the mileage that you get from that. And I think judo's equivalent as well, in terms of your fingers, and the mileage that you get on your body. But and I can't emphasize this enough, I think if you're training jiu-jitsu, you should be doing wrestling. Yeah. And I think wrestling should come first, to be honest.
And don't say takedowns, because that annoys me.
No,
tell them about groundwork in wrestling, bro. They don't understand.
So important.
Yeah.
And just, just certain things like, so for example, breaking someone down from turtle.
Yeah.
Or, like a single leg defense, with a quarter Nelson. Those things are like treasure, especially in the no-gi game.
Yeah, front headlock. Head in the hole, get in the back, taking the back.
Or the gator rolls, all that stuff. Everything. And then what is that? You end up having an anaconda or a dast, don't you? So
and it develops your side control, it develops your balance as well. So for example,
and your ability to scramble. Because there is, no matter what anyone says, you might pressure pass to the nth degree where it's like so tight, but there is always that chance of a scramble. And I think from wrestling is a prime example of it. Okay, cool. It's difficult now at this age to be able to do those kind of funk rolls. Those you see those Granbys from like standing. Yeah?
Yes.
But you should know the concept. You should know how to get your hips up and get yourself between your opponent, and it helps massively. But just like they said about the base,
I know mentality as well. Like for example, when you can tell the guy who does wrestling and the guy who doesn't, in the sense of like for example, when you're rolling and someone tries to put you in side control, sometimes you give that position up too early. Yeah, because you're working the escape. After once you're in side control, you're working escape. Yes, right. Whereas when I see the guys that wrestle, they don't let their shoulders touch the mat. That's right. Does that make sense? So they're kind of working an escape before they land in that position.
It's almost lazy. It's like, all right, cool.
Because I know how to get. I'm gonna bump. I'm gonna. Whereas this, you can't have your shoulders on the mat. You're pinned. You're pinned, isn't it? That's the end of match. So it's so critical, so vital that we do that, and I think that's why I'm there with Legion. We've got that. You've got access to everything. Like, you've got the fundamentals wrestling class. If you haven't done it before, start. And that's I think that's the key thing is fundamentals, 100%. Not beginners. No. Fundamentals. So it's open to anyone, and you're always going to polish up. You're doing it, or obviously. And the pace is
a single leg's a single leg, right?
Yes, this is it.
You have to keep this, but there's so many different ways. And like I said, with like front headlock, with back takes, it helps. Many times you see people on all fours, like, okay, cool, parterres, different position, but kind of similar sort of concepts,
100%.
Hand
but
across
pressure.
the back, pressure.
The pressure
Don't
from
let off. Don't let off. And you know, with you end up in I think it's in half guard as well. So when you're in half guard on bottom, and you come up with the underhook, and then the other top, and you come out. So dogfight it's called.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
end up with a guy and ends up with a whizzer.
Yeah.
Same thing in wrestling.
Single leg from the bottom when you're
Yeah.
in your back.
Yeah.
You literally single leg turn.
Literally that. So, and a lot of times I've noticed that recently, because obviously alhamdulillah, I've tried to keep up the wrestling where I can, but it's helped massively even in the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Because obviously all the people we're rolling with,
Yeah, they do the same thing.
they do the same
Yeah.
thing. So I've had to adapt. And that's so important because it strengthens you in a different way.
It's only when you roll with other people that not from your club, you
Yeah.
realise, oh, okay, this is actually the superpower, bro.
Yes, exactly.
Do you see what I'm saying?
100%. And you know what? I think, sorry to cut you, but
go
I
on.
think it's, you know, and obviously with it being, and that's the other thing about intention. Go with the right intentions. You know, you're there to help people. You're there to learn yourself. Ultimately, they're your training partners. And like I said, that sharing of that mat time, the personalized space, that's huge, man. I think when you get, I mean, I've been running a lot with Imran recently, been destroying me. But, you know, afterwards, you just feel like satisfied because you've looked after each other during the role. Look, freak accidents happen and injuries happen. That's always going to, you know, your finger gets caught here or like, you know, like my hamstring.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is one of those things. It's part and parcel of the game, isn't it? But definitely, again, it's just another, can't emphasize enough. Go and just get registered, man. Go somewhere. Go train. It doesn't have to be at Legion. Wherever you're, you know, living up north, West London, there's always clubs. Just go and do some grappling art. But again, I would,
And if you got
I would
kids,
stress,
put them in.
yes, kids, definitely.
Yeah.
Both my boys train jiu-jitsu. There isn't a wrestling program where they train.
But they got you now, bro.
Well, hopefully, inshallah.
Because you know the system, bro. Like,
Yeah.
we're teaching you the system.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you just learn it
That's
and
it.
then pass it on to your kids. That's the whole point.
Definitely.
And I think to kind of finish up with the fatherhood aspect, 'cause
Yeah.
I think as a father, like for me, I said to my kids, you should pass this down to your kids. That's your job.
Yeah.
Same way you're passing down your ilm when it comes to how to pray, I think this element, this combat sport element is very important. Not because you want to go out and oppress people, but I feel like it's a form of literacy.
Definitely.
It's like learning, it's a language.
100%.
Using your
Yeah,
body.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so you pass that language down onto your own kids. And it needs to be, and I feel like, who was it? I was speaking to Amir yesterday, Coach Amir, and we're talking about, because we were in the masjid yesterday, and we're saying, look, you got the masjid, but the masjid, unfortunately, is doing only one part. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You need the gym. You need both of them,
Yeah.
bruv. Like, you can't just have the masjid, you can't just have the gym.
What's your thoughts on, sorry to cut you, with masjids doing their own kind of program?
Because they'll just get locked down, innit?
Grappling programs and stuff. Have you seen that?
I think it's a good thing. But I'm saying,
Do you know what?
I was speaking to Shamu yesterday, saying,
yeah.
like, imagine it. I said, imagine every masjid had like a grab. Because then you got the authorities thinking that we're running some sort of camp in there or whatever.
No, that's true.
You can't even, like, do you see what I'm saying, bro? That's what they're going to be. So it's good that it's separate.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? But it's like, unfortunately, that our community is stigmatized. You know, like, even though this is something that if you done it in a church, no one bat an eyelid, bro.
No one bat an eyelid. That's true.
You know,
that's true.
If a church program had a jiu-jitsu program, then what's wrong with that? But obviously, like unfortunately, it is what it is. You just got to live with it, innit? But I feel like this actually stops all of that.
Yeah.
It stops gangs, because you're already in the gang, bro.
100%.
Jiu-jitsu gang, bro.
Yeah.
Grappling gang.
Yeah.
Might as well, like, do you see what I'm saying?
Positive.
You're doing something. You're doing. You're building community. You're building, but the spiritual side of the mesh. And unfortunately, a lot of the spiritual leaders, they're not very physically.
Yeah, they're not
fit.
They're not role models in that sense.
Yeah, bro.
Which, I mean,
and I think that for young men, that's why we talked about. You know, you got these guys on YouTube, bro. Of like, they don't really have that level of understanding when it comes to the deen. When it comes, if someone who studied properly, but they have access to these kids.
Yeah, but you have to emulate all aspects, right? If you're emulating the Sahaba and Prophet ﷺ, you have to emulate all aspects. You're not just the the worship side of things was fantastic.
But if you look at Abraham Lincoln, bro.
Yeah.
Let's look at Abraham Lincoln for a second,
Yeah.
yeah? He was a wrestler, bro.
Yeah, catch wrestling, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Was
catch
it?
wrestling, bro. Like Roosevelt, what's his name? Theodore Roosevelt.
Theodore Roosevelt.
They were all specimens, bro.
Yeah.
Like they used to train, obviously in our own cultures, bro. That was something, but something happened along the line where
See, that
it
annoys
became
me.
domesticated, bro.
Yeah, about Pakistan, because we're like, obviously, where my
Yeah, because
parents are from.
it's a wrestling nation, bro.
Yes, but there's no funding.
It's dead.
It's dead. There's no funding.
But look at India,
Massive, and they're like, Olympic medal winners, aren't they? And it's
bro.
just-
They're one. I would say top 5 in the world.
yeah,
Maybe top 10.
definitely. And I mean, again, I was watching the Commonwealth Games, and I was like, okay, they're there, but when I follow it,
Yeah.
there's no funding. I spoke to my dad about this, and he goes, yeah, they just don't fund it, because obviously cricket is the national sport, and then
Which is what's cricket, bro?
exactly, and
With due
hockey comes
respect.
second, yeah. And going back to what you said about passing it down, that's been passed down from generations. So they have these, I don't know actually the name, but they have like this almost like a sand or mud
Yeah,
pit.
they dig it up.
They
innit?
dig it up,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
part of their training as
Yeah,
well
yeah.
to maintain that. And obviously they do
They warm up with that,
They
innit?
warm up with that. They do a lot of their conditioning and stuff. It's all kind of old
If you
school.
think about it, you're breaking it up and then
It's
you're
like
digging
that.
it.
Exactly. It's a lot of push and pull movements, which
exactly.
is what the basis of strength and conditioning and weight training is now anyway. But passing it down to generations is what's important.
Yeah.
So if that's something that we can pass down because we've taught it directly,
Yeah.
that's the best way, right?
Yeah. 100%.
But it's kind of instilling that, and also again, just mentioning a previous podcast, the one with the Aki Adventures.
Yeah.
Bro, that really made me think. Like, actually, you know what? Subhanallah, that sounds amazing. Something that I wanted to do. My pops.
Take
is-
your boy as well, bro.
Yeah, exactly. My pops has always said that. One
horse
thing-
riding.
Yeah, horse riding.
Yeah.
Horse riding was one of the things that he wanted to kind of make sure that someone did. Horse riding, swimming. Now my pops, he's just turned 70, he's going to turn 71 this year, but he loves the fact that I train. Like, he hasn't been able to do it himself. He's not out of shape, but he's worked most of his life, and he did a physical job. So a lot of carrying at that time, and then he had back issues.
But also
and whatnot.
back in the day, there was no gyms, bro. There
was no
that You're
gyms.
gonna go and
But that's the other thing we've had to do. What today's generation have is us guys.
yeah.
We can push it on them because we didn't have that. No one told us to go and grapple or find out, go seek places to do martial arts. No, that wasn't my dad's or my parents' concern. So it was just like, right, education, get educated, that's fine. Everything else is whatever.
Yeah.
So we weren't pushed into that. Whereas now, okay, cool, we're established here now. So now we need to start pushing the next part, which is things that we would like to have done maybe from a younger age onto them. And that's the thing with kids, they won't realize the benefit until a bit later. Like
Even
you
now,
said,
I'm pushing them, bro. Like sometimes they don't want to train, bro. They don't want to.
but they'll thank you.
Later on, they'll thank you. I know that.
You know what? So glad my dad told me to stick to it, because in the end of the day, that makes them it makes them well-rounded individuals. When I see with your boys and stuff, mashallah, the etiquette and that they have when they greet someone, that comes from you. It doesn't come from anyone else. And also being in that, I remember you mentioned previously, just knowing that you can handle yourself, but not needing to do it.
Yeah.
It's a big thing for children, and big thing for growing men as well.
Yeah.
But also not needing to use that so that they can actually use other tools.
Just out the way now.
Out the way.
I can handle myself. I don't
Exactly.
have to either be shy or be overly compensating.
And there isn't that insecurity.
Yeah.
Because when insecurity starts to develop, and unfortunately the insecurity start at home, because they're maybe not given enough attention on that side of things. We need to do that as fathers. We need to make sure that obviously Islamically we're bound to give them that Islamic education, but also to make sure that they grow up to be well-rounded. And the only way that you do that is you open the dialogue. I found it very difficult to speak to my dad growing up. And even to this day, we sit in the we have chats now, but it will be very much business-like. So it would be about, because I know that's what he likes to talk about. So that's what you end up talking about, or some charity work that he does back home. That's the kind of stuff that he's interested in. So you have to kind of think. Whereas I would have liked someone, all right, okay, cool, you know, watch the fights with me or watch UFC.
Yeah.
You know, like, and, or like...
But he's from completely
yeah,
different culture,
absolutely,
bro,
absolutely. So that's why, like, you know, we can't always have that, but we have to kind of adapt to them. Whereas with our children, we can kind of mold them to say, okay, it's good. You know, there's the last time that Islam fought, the boys watched it. You know, they loved it. Like Ali had he had him on his wallpaper on his iPad for like you know, for a good few weeks. I said, and then I saw him next time. It was some other rubbish. I said to him, "We're going to change that back." So it's about that constant, you know, interaction and keeping that in their lives. But yeah, man, 100%.
Also, like, I feel, you know, as a father, you have to teach your kids.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, that's the biggest gift you can give your child. Not money, not like, it's teaching them a skill, bro.
Yeah.
And like, if you think about yourself as a father, like even fathers in general, bro. Who's calling me, man? Sorry, bro.
No, I gotta take it.
Alright, it's hard, bro. But we've got Irfat and Dr. Rashid in the house. Well, you're not a doctor yet, bro. So cool. You good?
That's right.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna bring that up, bro.
Do you know what? Shout out to all the Faisal Badis, you know. I don't know if it's Faisal Badians or Faisal Badis, but we're gonna say Faisal Badis.
Steel City of Pakistan.
That's right.
Steel City.
That's right.
MashaAllah. I'm feeling patriotic, bro.
Tell them about
Pakistani, bro.
Tell them about Kentaka. They don't know about Kentaka, do they?
About what, sorry?
It's this clock. We were a clock tower in the middle of the city, and basically from the time of the British, there's basically like I think there's 8 kind of roads coming out of it.
Right.
If you look at it from bird's eye view, it's the Union Jack. You believe that?
Wow.
Yeah.
Biggest trolls, bro.
Hit it. But they've got basically 8. They call it 8 markets, 8 bazaars, basically. So it's
How do you say it in
Art Bazaar.
Art
Yeah.
Bazaar?
That's in Punjabi.
TK. I went through a Pakistani phase, bro.
Did you?
Yeah, for a little bit.
Then you saw it.
I had a Bengali phase, then I had a Pakistani phase.
No, your Bengali phase is still there.
It's still, do you reckon it's still there? Yeah, it's because of Rashid, bro.
Shout out to Rashid.
Yeah, so like, obviously there's, mashallah, everyone here, except Imran actually.
Yeah.
Everyone here is a father, bro.
Yeah.
So like,
That's why he left the room.
that's why I left the room, bro. Yeah. But yeah, like learning, like I know your dad, he taught you carpentry, bro. I say he taught you, like he inspired you to be a carpenter. Obviously your dad inspired you to be alive, bro, because he brought you into this world, didn't He's hard working, yeah, mashallah, very hard working, bro. His dad, Allahumma barik, bro, the most regimented guy I've ever met in my life. You can set your clock. All right. He's got, at one specific time, he's in the room praying, Maghrib, and then what he would do, he'd stay in that room between Maghrib and Isha, innit? Oh, no, Asr and Maghrib.
He's got like all his adhkar and...
Does he still turn the fan on and...
Yeah.
Same thing!
Routine,
Bruv, I'll tell you what his routine was. What's that?
Like military.
Bruv, this is what he'd do, yeah? He'd get back from work. What time? Before he'd go to work.
Yeah.
Because he'd cabbie at night.
Right.
To get this joker through school and stuff, innit, bro? I'm joking. Obviously, to provide for his family, mashallah, bro. Yeah. So he would. Okay, so he would get up, have a shower.
Yeah.
Go into this room, turn the fan on. He'd have this fan that will go like this, and then he'll just read his adhkar and everything, and then he'll go to work every day. At a specific time, we did it. Mashallah, it was.
But again, it goes back to discipline.
That's it, bro.
And that's, what we talked about. They need discipline. Kids need discipline.
Yeah.
So when, when my kids come stay with me, it's important that there is, otherwise they're just kind of lawless. You need to set down some rules. So in
Do you ever roll with them?
Sorry?
Do you ever roll with them?
Yeah, it's peak for them, isn't it?
Is it? Do you go full blast on them?
Musa doesn't want to as much. Ali, obviously, he's 8 years old, isn't it? So it's more of like but he loves it. Yeah. They'll say, all right, okay, I learned this today. And the good thing is that there's also, like we've talked about curriculums and stuff.
Yes.
There's a curriculum they go through.
Yeah, the Gracie Baha.
Gracie Baha, yeah. So there's a set curriculum. They've got to go through certain things to be able to get graded up as well, which is good because it gives them a bit of discipline as well. They know what they're doing. And it's good because they stick on something for like a week, 2 weeks. And then that kind of, it improves that skill set. But yeah, no, it's good, man. It's for them, like, especially they need to expend that energy and they're expending it in a good way.
Yeah.
And they're learning skills for life. Do you know what I mean? So it's like the thing in it, it's that personal space, but also being able to respect other people as well. But yeah, I watched a couple of the sessions and they're good. I mean, obviously they're not like Coach Khalid's sessions or like the ones we have at Legion, but you know, it's they're training. That's the main thing, isn't it? If they're training, they're training.
It becomes like a tradition in your house, bro.
Absolutely.
They pass it on.
It needs to get passed down, and that's I'll be very adamant
The
about
testosterone levels in this room have just increased, bro.
They did about a minute ago.
Coach Khalid just walked in the room. Arfat's in the room. We've got too many men in this room, bro. The testosterone levels. We need to go and get our blood levels tested, bro. I think we'll end on that, bro. Bro, it's been. I'm not gonna say it.
No, go on, say it.
I could talk to you for ages. And these guys always get on me when I say that, bro. Yeah, but generally, barakallahu fik. And I hopefully I want you to keep coming back, bro.
Definitely. Whenever you have me, inshallah.
And shout out to Musa and Ali.
Yeah.
Musa and Ali. Look after your dad, bro. Otherwise, we're gonna come for you. Not you. I'm looking at the camera. I'm looking at the camera. Guys ready to fight me, bruv. You've taken everything that was it. Diaz, what was that? You've taken everything that what?
Everything that I work for.
I work for. Barakallahu fik, Aurangzeb. Does everyone call you? Because the thing is, you know, when you shorten your name, in our countries,
personally shorten my name.
You know what it means in our countries, though.
Yeah. I know.
You know what it means,
yes,
yeah. So for all the North Africans, we don't shorten Aurangzeb's name.
Yes, good.
Yeah, definitely.
And no one should really.
No one should. Yeah.
That's my dad's. Like, he hates it.
Oh yeah, no, we'll call you Aurangzeb.
If you call me by a short name in front of my dad, he'll correct you.
I would never do that, bro.
Yeah. No, you wouldn't. I'm saying just generally anyway.
Shout out to
my pops.
Dr. Aurangzeb's dad. MashaAllah, hardcore.
He won't
soldier.
He named me for a reason, isn't it?
Yeah, so of course. It's important, man.
And it's actually not Arabic.
Yeah, it's Persian, right?
Yeah, it's Farsi.
That's right, mashallah.
Yeah, it's.
What's your brother's name?
Amr.
And he just gave him just a standard name.
Why do you think my kids all got 4-letter names? They don't have the same problem I have.
So growing up, you must have got rinsed in school.
Not
bro.
Really.
Is it? Because you're hard-bodied, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously. I didn't really get it.
Come and get a consultation.
But it's teachers, isn't it? It's teachers. It's like,
yeah. Did they short it out? They do, but you know, whoever could say it, I would prefer them to say it because it's that's my name, isn't it? Sure.
I don't have a middle name.
Was there a TV show about Aurangzeb? Was that Tipu Sultan? Sorry,
no, it's Tipu Sultan. Yeah.
It's not same.
No.
Generation.
No, Aurangzeb was from the. Oh, you're testing me now.
Is it 1800? Is it Victorian?
No, 1700s or 1600s. I think he ruled for about 48 years. It was descendant of the Mongols,
right?
So they called them the Mughals, basically.
Okay.
So they settled in obviously the subcontinent.
Yeah.
And actually, under his rule is when it got to its
peak.
Yeah, its peak.
Yeah.
Then after that, but then he, I think, had a lot of. So he was a Hafiz as well. So he kind of was the one because the Mughals, not a lot of them were practicing.
Right.
One of them tried to like make his own religion.
Right.
And the other ones are kind of like it's a bit opulent, basically.
Right.
They just wanted to, but the architecture is fantastic.
Yeah.
So what they've left, like obviously, Taj
the
Mahal.
Mughal Empire. Yeah.
Taj Mahal is like that's Aurangzeb's dad, Shah Jahan, who built it as a mausoleum for his wife, Mumtaz. Right. Mumtaz is the name Mumtaz Mahal. So that's and actually
man's dropping facts today, bro.
Taj Mahal's got inscriptions or the Quranic inscriptions on it.
Interesting.
So actually, it's more of a mausoleum, as a shrine kind of thing, to an ode to his late wife.
His wife. Is she buried in there?
Yeah, she is. I believe so. I'm hoping so.
What's that?
You know they were going to build another one.
Well, were they?
The black one.
Oh yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why?
Was supposed to be with him. He was going to be buried in the
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah.
And she was buried in the white one.
And what happened?
She didn't get him one.
He didn't get it.
He didn't die.
You know what happened? No,
He chopped their hands off it.
he got imprisoned, didn't it, by me?
They chopped his
By my
hands off.
namesake.
Aurangzeb,
He imprisoned his own father.
Why?
Yeah.
Because he's moving mad.
Politics, bro. Because in those days, with the Mughals themselves, they had so you know the succession. Basically, brothers fought it to the death. So he offed his brothers, and he basically, unfortunately, it's not.
He wanted to be top G.
He basically was top G after that, and then yeah, like I said, after he passed away, the empire just disbanded.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that was the end of sort of the sort of, I think, last kind of Islamic sort of
Yeah.
empire as well in India.
Then the British came in.
Then the British came in. It was just like,
Game over, bro.
yeah. That's a lot of
Barakallah
facts,
fiik.
innit?
Jazakallah khairan, bro.
Barakallah fiik.
And to everyone at home, we'll see you on the next one.